Today, let's talk about how you can supplement your income at your booth, particularly during the winter months, which tend to be a lot slower. So I've been playing with some background features on this camera that I have on my Mac. So forgive me, but sometimes the background is going to fade in and out. So today I wanted to talk about how you could supplement your income at your booth. And I've always got my eyes out for ways that other people are doing it. Now I've seen things like incense displays. I've seen those herbal oils. I've seen soap, either handmade or they're purchased from a company that does all natural soap. I've seen things like crafts, especially if someone is particularly artistic, they may go in and create bookmarks or pretty cards or something. And all of those are great ideas. For me in particular, I like things that don't have a strong scent. I'm a little bit allergic to some of the smells that are out there. And so for me, I wouldn't put that in my booth because I prefer a subtle smell to something overpowering like potpourri or some soaps that people have been experimenting with. Candles is another big one that I'm sensitive to. So I'm always looking for something that's more in my, and I hate the word wheelhouse, but that's what I'm looking for. Something that I can relate to, something that I enjoy doing, and something that gives me that creative bump that I need sometimes during the slower months of the year. When you're stuck at home, either because of the weather or because of our recent lockdowns, it's always good to find something that maybe you thought you wanted to give a try, and now you have an opportunity to do so. So I'm going to try and talk to you about my experience doing self-publishing, which I came across last year, and I thought, oh, that's an interesting idea, but I wasn't sure if it was for me. So I looked into it a little bit, did my research and my homework on YouTube, on some websites, and I settled on a few things and decided to go for it. I started in January, and I'll show you some of the outcome of that research and that effort. So I hope you forgive the mess back there, but I have been cleaning some of my stock, and I'm going to be bringing it to my booth in the next month because of some sales that we're having there. The annual Cabin Fever, which is, I don't know if it's North America wide, but most antique malls will do a February sale, so anyone who's a vendor can participate, and it's a nice way to get people into your booth when it is slower. A lot of people after Christmas are just shopped out, and they go in looking for deals, so it's nice that they can go in and actually see some sales. So that's what I'm doing back there. I've got a lot of stuff that's ready to go. Just have to put some pricing on it, and away we go. So I'm going to talk about my adventure with what they call KDP, which stands for Kindle Direct Publishing. Now, there is a site on Amazon called KDP, which allows you to self-publish Kindle digital books. So you can publish pretty much whatever you have in mind, whatever your project is, you can publish it there. And a lot of people will do that, and it's very low risk because there are a lot of free resources out there that you can use to put your book together. And then if it's something that's not even like an actual hard copy of a book, then it's much easier to sell. You can put a lower price point on it, and people will take it with them on their Kindle or download it to their iPad, whatever device they have. But along with KDP Direct Publishing for Kindle, there is also a section there where you can publish paperback and hardback books as well. Now, one of the things they recommend for someone just starting out is to go with a low content or what they call a no content book. So there are two components to publishing on KDP. And there are various resources to get you to that point, which I'll kind of go over later. But what you need is a cover, and that cover is a wraparound cover, so you need to get the right dimensions for that. And it is in PDF format. And then there's also the manuscript, which is your content. So you need to know the number of pages for that, and it gives you your verifications once you combine the two. But I'll go through that in a bit and show you the steps that I took to put those together. First, I want to talk about some of the resources. What was recommended to me through my research was Canva. And Canva is an interesting website. You can use the free version, and there are limited options there. But really, you're using it to develop your cover and to develop your manuscript as well. For, in particular, low content. You can use it for actual content as well, but it was recommended to begin, if as a beginner, to start out with low content or no content. So I did that. One of the things I love to do is I love to dabble in art with PowerPoint. I know that sounds strange. A lot of people will use more sophisticated artistic applications than PowerPoint, but I find there's a lot I can do with PowerPoint, and it's a pretty exciting medium for me to be able to use what I've learned from PowerPoint and to develop some interesting covers. Of course, my covers center around mid-century modern. I love the mid-century modern look and aesthetic, so that is kind of where I started out creating notebooks. So there's the two parts of this. The first part is to create an interesting cover using KDP or using PowerPoint. You can see this one's very straightforward. It is a notebook, and it has the mid-century starbursts on it, and essentially it's just a lined notebook to take along. You have two options for the cover as well that they give you on KDP. One is for a glossy cover, and then one is for a matte cover. I like the matte cover because the reflections are limited on it, and it gives you a nice looking book. This is a 6x9 notebook, 120 pages, which when you have the number of pages in your manuscript, KDP will calculate that and put that number automatically in your Amazon listing, because these do get listed on Amazon if you choose to do so. Here's another design for me. I really am a big fan of vintage lawn chairs with the straps. So whenever I find those out and about, I try to pick those up. And I did find at the Goodwill outlet once a huge bag full of partially used and still some completely sealed replacement wrap for some of these lawn chairs. So it's kind of fun to design a notebook, basically very straightforward notebook with that in mind. From there, I went on to do what I was hoping was a little more thematic. And for me, I love mid-century modern homes. So my designs for that, I created this design again using PowerPoint, and the trees kind of go off into the back because you can publish the back as well. They do assign you one of these barcodes as well. So I created one, and then I did color variation of that, and then I even did a seasonal Halloween version of it. So I've got those. They're very quick to make once you have the manuscript inside, and again, these are just lined copies. Then it's pretty simple to recreate the cover, go back into KDP, combine the new cover with the original manuscript, and boom, you have another notebook, either for sale or if you want to print creator copies for yourself, you can do that as well. And again, I have a mid-century theme here with cats. I do like those mid-century cats. One of the things that I noticed is that they give you the cover and the back cover when you go on using your phone onto Amazon to take a look at these notebooks. So I've started, not for lined notebooks because that's pretty basic, but I've started putting sample pages on the back, screenshotted, so that people on their phone can see it. But I noticed on your desktop or laptop, going into the full web version of Amazon, they do give you a look inside option so you can see the content. Not so important for a notebook, but definitely when I started branching out, I went into the day planner theme. So I created this cover as well. I really like the Nelson clocks, so I thought, oh, that would make sense for a planner. So again, you can find free applications or even in PowerPoint to create your fonts and also to create your artwork itself. You can use whatever works for you. If you have a more sophisticated application, go for it. There's no reason why you shouldn't. And then you have an interesting cover. And again, the manuscript I did in Canva. I took a template that was already existing in there, which you're allowed to do if it's using the free pieces, the free components of the site. So I did that, and then I customized it for my own purposes. So basically you have customizable year and month, and then also each day, and then that gives you your week per page, and then there are some side notes that you can also use if you need to write any notes for your week. And every page is identical, so you see that it's like 120 pages of using the same. And I did the matte finish on this one as well. And again, I do have a screen capture on the latest version of the cover of the interior page, so that if you need to see a sample page, you can do that through your phone. Basically by looking at the back cover, they give you the front cover and the back cover when you're looking at what you want to purchase. And I also created a notebook with little green army men, because I thought, who doesn't like little green army men toys? Very vintage, very retro, which is always my theme. Now, the thing about KDP is you can publish these. They give you options on there to put pricing for various markets, including Canada, US, Australia, European countries. I believe Mexico's on there now as well. So you can put the pricing individually for each of those countries, or you can just set Amazon.com and select base it on everything, and then that price will automatically adjust for the different currencies. The other thing you can do is order a creator copy, which is essentially just a at cost copy that you can send to yourself for proofs. I like that idea because it's good to get a copy before you sell it online, because you don't know if there's any flaws or errors. So you want to make sure that it looks good, because if you're going to be selling it online, you want it to look professional. For me, I do the copies for the creator copies because I do want them in my booth, so I can buy these for a certain price point, and then I'll sell them for a small profit as well in my booth. So I have a bunch of them now that are sitting in my booth. And again, this is an A-frame home. Goes along with the theme for my homes theme, because I am going to do a few more that basically are just these homes, these vintage looking homes, which I think are fun. And sorry, I'm not getting the camera very good. Oh, here we go. So yeah, you've got your California style home, and you've got your A-frame home, and different types of trees. This one's more Midwestern, and this one and this one here is more of a forest looking because A-frames tend to be on lakes. So from there, also currently in Canada, you can't order a specific creator copy because the shop in Ottawa that produces those has limitations because of the lockdowns. So they are not able to do that. But then it was recommended to me on another website to take that price point for the Canadian website and drop it to the minimum. And when you drop it to the minimum, then you can order a few copies for yourself. So it's like a minimal cost. And then once you receive those copies, or once you've purchased them, then you can raise the price back up to, the price point that you're comfortable with to make a profit if people do start noticing them on Amazon. And that's a whole other story. So from there, I went to a larger size. This is 8.5 by 11. And I did something that is out there. They call them a niche. There are niches that people are looking for. In this particular case, it is a blank comic book niche. So there are people out there who are looking for these blank comic books that they can scribble their own comic doodles in, create their own comic books, use as a template for any ideas that they may have for comics. And I was not particularly happy with the way this cover turned out, but I left it like that for a few weeks and have since updated this cover to go in line with what I'm doing, which is now currently a series. So I've updated this cover, and I don't have a copy of that content copy yet, or a creator copy yet. So what I've done since then is I've created what I'm going to turn into a series. So I've got this book here called Design an Action Figure. Again, a lot of this design that I did myself was done in PowerPoint and also put together in Canva. So once I have the various elements that I create wherever, then I will go into Canva and put it all together, because that's where you're getting the right size and dimensions for populating it into the KDP application on Amazon. So anyways, this one was really fun to make. You have to design your own blank templates for people, and then from there, just whoever's creative enough, they can figure out what they want to do with it. I've updated this cover as well to be a little more end result, so from beginning to end. So I've got the beginning piece here. I go step by step with how I recommend you fill it out, and then you go to your finished product, which can be a variety of options. You can pencil, crayon, color, magic marker, whatever you want to do, add stickers, logo stickers, whatever you want to do to make it look like an action figure peg. And again, that back piece is also content within the book. It gives you your step-by-step. So step 1, draw your hero. I show you where to draw it on the template. And step 2, create your own logo. So I was pretty proud of this because I thought it was part of a niche that is not that active. So I thought, well, maybe it'll get some interest because it is a unique idea. At least I haven't been able to find anything similar. And now that it's out there, maybe other people will pick up on it and do a better job. I don't know, but that's part of the risk you take. So you can see I'm starting to use a similar pattern for my books. I currently have 4 in the series. The 4th one will be published this week. It's early March, so it'll be available. I'll show you at the end what the cover of that one looks like. But here again, I give you a step-by-step on how to populate these templates. So you draw your car, you name your car, design the display card, and then add whatever flair you want to make it pop. And it can be as simple and as complicated as you want it to be, depending on where you are on the artistic experience and scale. And we'll see how that one does. So I'm proud of this one because even more so than the action figure one, I think there is more interest in the die-cast car world than there is in action figures. So we'll see how those do. There is an option on KDP that allows you to group similar books into a series. So that's my next step. I've started to combine these books into a series. And I'll include the comic doodle book as well, because I think that 4 in the series, which the 4th one will be out this week, will be a good start, and continue to add to that series as I develop more ideas for it, and I do have a few more ideas for it. And also the notebooks, I'll be combining the vintage retro mid-century home theme as well into the notebooks. So yeah, that is my experience with creating these notebooks and these activity books, and we'll see how they do. They're available on Amazon under my name. I'll leave that in the link below as well, so you can take a look at them if you want. Check out the price points if you have any questions about it, if you think that it's fair, if it's competitive, or if it's too high or too low. Let me know, because this is all new to me, so I'm always open to people's suggestions and comments, as long as they're positive and constructive, because I'm a little sensitive. So I just want to make sure that I'm on the right track with these and producing things not just for my booth, because I do have a bunch of them there now, but also if there is interest out there, what would people like to see? I could try and develop something that might be kind of fun to produce for sale. Now I'll go through some of the websites that I use, and then you can check out some of the videos out there. There's a ton of them. I'm not going to link to everybody because all you have to do is type in KDP in YouTube or even on Google, and a ton of resources will come up. Now, there is a very flooded market right now, probably because everyone was sitting at home wondering what to do for fun. So there's tons of books out there right now, hugely competitive. So try and find a niche that you think you would excel at. Don't waste your time in something that you won't excel at, or that is way too competitive, because there are some people out there who are hardcore and they know what they're doing. So if you're just doing it for fun, or like me, you're doing it to produce creator copies so that you can sell in the real world rather than online, then yeah, it's worth it. It's a lot of fun, and it just gives you that creative outlet if that's what you're looking for. All right, so here is a bit of a slideshow that I created just to give you an example of some of the applications that I use to create a KDP publication. Canva is the one that was recommended to me the most by anyone on YouTube or on Google that I've done my research for, and it's actually an interesting application. You can go in and use the free version. You do have to register, but you can use a free version, and there are plenty of options. So for low risk, low cost, I would recommend using a free version until you become comfortable with the application itself. Very similar in the way that it functions to PowerPoint. That's why I think I was comfortable with it. Yeah, so when you're in there and you've registered, then the main thing is to ensure that you create the size that you want for what you're working with. And that could be either the cover or it could be the manuscript itself. I use PowerPoint when I create my covers. Here's an example for the planner. Make sure you get your measurements, and I'll show you a website where you can get a very simple template that you can use to make sure that you have all the margins and the bleed and the spine and all of that information. So once I've created this as a PNG file, then I will overlay it. You can see there's an upload option on the left there. You can upload your cover and overlay it on top of the size of the project that you've created in Canva. Now you can use BookOwl. I think it's called BookOwl. I don't know if it's bookow.com. It's another free application to generate a template to give you all the numbers you need to input into Canva for your project. And it's free to use. You are welcome to donate to the site or register as a paying member. But again, if you want to just try things out, I recommend going with the free options until you're comfortable with what you're using, and from there you can decide whether you want to commit further using your own money. So you go back to Canva, they will email you the template, and from there you can upload it. You can overlay it onto your project and then use transparency to kind of make sure everything's aligned the way you want to. And you can see from that second picture there that I've got everything kind of where I've centered it and where I want it to be. You can see the bleed is that pink line, and the spine also has a pink line that shows you a tiny little white line in the middle that you can use to add a spine title. It's very small, obviously. I've only got 120 pages on this one, so but when you get the actual book in hand, it is pretty clear, so you don't have to worry too much about that. You can also use Canva to create your manuscript. So once you're happy with your low content, for this, in this case, I'm using the planner. So I've created this planner to create my main page, and then you will use Canva to duplicate. Canva allows you 100 pages, which you can download as a PDF print, which I recommend that you do, and then go back in, save it, make a copy of it. Canva allows you to do all of those features in the free version, and then delete 80 of the pages and you have your 20. So if you want it to be 120, you will save a PDF print version of 100 and of 20, and then I'll show you what I use to combine those two into one. So there you have a grid view of all your pages. If it looks the way you want, you can download it for 20 and 100. And then I use an app or a website called smallpdf.com, and it allows you 2 merges per day, and you can use it twice. So for me, once you have the manuscript, you can create multiple manuscripts and books out of that manuscript, so you don't really need to merge that often. So 2 free per day is good for me. If you do one and there's an error, you can correct it with your second merge, and then they will email you that, or they will allow you to download that to your desktop. So once you're satisfied with both your cover and your manuscript, you are ready to upload your book into Amazon KDP. And the site is very intuitive. I'm not going to go through it here because there are plenty of people out there with YouTube videos far better than I could do. So go search them out. They're easy to find on YouTube. The site is intuitive, like I say. Again, make sure you've got your measurements correct. Read all the options as you're walking through to make sure you're getting all the checks and balances for it. Once you upload your manuscript and your cover, KDP Amazon will merge the two, and then they'll give you the option to view that merge to make sure it looks the way that you want it to. Now, if it's low content, you can in particular look at the cover and the back cover, and of course every page, 120 pages, they should be identical. So if you're happy with a couple of the pages, then there's no need to look at each and every page. But if you do have content on your manuscripts that's unique, then definitely you'll want to go through that page by page to make sure there's no spelling errors or positioning errors or anything that's bled off the page, sizing and all of that. You can do that. And once you're happy with it, then you approve it, and then it takes you to the final step, which is the pricing and the markets you want to send it to. So you can from there start creating your notebooks, and they will then publish them to Amazon, and it takes approximately 3 working days, 3 business days for it to start showing up, and it'll allow you to go in and, like I said earlier, if you want to create a copy for yourself as a proof, go in as a content creator. I think you can do that in the States, and get an at-cost copy. In Canada, I just set the pricing for the Canada site down to the minimal, and then I will, once it's published, I will send myself a couple of versions of that, and then I will bump the price back to where I think it should be relative to how it is priced on Amazon.com. I hope you enjoyed that little overview of the KDP process that I've gone through. It's just stuff that I learned in the last couple of months. For sure, there's a lot out there to learn, a lot out there to do, a lot of sites and resources that you can access. So certainly go for it. It's a lot of fun, and these are some of the notebooks and the planners and the design series that I've created myself so far, and those are in my booth, and you can also find them on Amazon.com under my last name, Ruessink. Again, if you're looking on your phone, you'll see the front cover and the back cover, but if you're looking on the actual full site, you will see the look inside feature, which will be offered, and you can take a look at some of the pages to make sure it's what you're looking for as far as a book. Hope you enjoyed that, and in the meanwhile, here are some of the items that I've added to my booth for the month of March.